All right, hi guys, this is Mr. Biggers here. Today you're going to learn Module 8, Lesson 2. This is day 1 of that. So we're going to be talking about division properties of exponents. So our essential question, I want you to copy this down on your notes. What are the division properties of exponents? Our first question is, what is a quotient of powers? And write this down, please. A quotient of powers is a division problem with exponents. So I have an example that we're going to do real quick. So go ahead and copy this down. So pause the video, copy the notes down that you need. Here's an example we're going to do. So I got 2 to the 8th power over 2 to the 3rd power. Now, if we rewrite this, we know that the exponent tells us how many times that 2 is really being multiplied. So it's really 2 times 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 2. Okay? So there's 8 2's being multiplied together. Over, because it's a fraction, it's going to be 3 2's. 2 times 2 times 2. Okay, so how do we solve or reduce something like this? Well, you're going to cancel out on the top with what is the same on the bottom. So I have a 2 up here, I have a 2 down here. So you keep canceling them out until there's nothing left to cancel out. So what you're left with is 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 times 2, which if you rewrite that with exponents is 2 to the 5th power, okay? So that's how you can reduce that. Now, if you look here closely, it is 8 over 3. Well, 8 minus 3 is 5. So that's where you find out this pattern of division, okay? So we're going to write this key concept here. So go ahead and copy this down. So to divide 2 powers, with the same base, you're going to subtract the exponents. So it's going to make our lives really easy here. So we are going to go ahead and do some first examples here. So we've got to simplify this first problem. So we're going to write example 1. Go ahead and copy this problem down. I got b to the 5th power, c to the 7th power over b squared c. Okay? So all you're going to do here is cancel out the same bases. So I have b to the 5th, b to the 2nd. So you subtract top to bottom. Okay? So you're going to do 5 minus 2. So the b is going to become b to the 3rd power. Same thing with the c's, okay? C to the 7th on the top. The bottom is c to the 1st because if it doesn't have an exponent, it's always an exponent of 1. You're going to subtract top to bottom. 7 minus 1 is going to get you 6. So your answer here is b to the 3rd, c to the 6th. So when you divide exponents, it's going to subtract. Okay, so subtract top to bottom. Top to bottom. All right, so we're going to go ahead and, in the summary point, do a check. So I want you to pause the video, write this problem down, and check to see if you get it right. Okay, so real quick here before you start the check, anytime you don't have an exponent next to your variable, it's always a good idea to write a 1 there. Okay? So what we're going to do is see what is going on here. So I don't have any a's, so I know a to the squared is going to be left. Okay? B to the 9th over b to the 8th. We're going to subtract top to bottom. So you have b to the 9 minus 8, which is really b to the 1st power. So I have b, okay? Same thing now looking at the c's. I got 1 minus 1, which is c to the 0 power. which is the c's gone, okay? So c to the 0 power is just 1. So anything to the power of 0 is 1. So the c is absolutely gone. You don't have to write it because it's to 0 power. Same thing with the d. You have d to the first power, so d to the 1 minus 1 is d to the 0. So it's gone, all right? So your final answer here is going to be a, b, or a squared, b, okay? So that is your answer. Remember, you don't write to the first power, so that's not going to be in your final answer. So that's the front of the notes. Feel free to pause, rewind if you need to see anything else. We're going to do a couple more problems here on the back side, okay? So go ahead and copy down these examples. So copy these down. Got u squared, v to the 4th, over u to the 6th, v to the 3rd. And the last one here is going to be 20, v to the 5th, over 24, v squared. All right, so let's go ahead and figure these out together. So if you have the same base, so since they're both a's here, you're going to subtract top to bottom. So you got a to the 5 minus 3, which is a squared, okay? Now you're going to look at the b's here. B to the 4th on the top, b to the 6th on the bottom. So you have to do b to the 4 minus 6, which is b to the power of negative 2, all right? So your final answer here is going to be a squared b to the negative 2. This is important, okay? Write this down. Negative exponents flip over a fraction. Okay, so anytime you have a negative exponent, like b to the power of negative 2, it is going to literally flip you over a fraction and make your exponent positive. Okay, so what does that look like? Well, this is going to change to a squared, and then it's flipping the b to the bottom of the fraction. So it's going to be b squared on the bottom. Okay, so a negative exponent is going to flip over a fraction. So wherever it's at, it's going to flip it. The negative sign in the exponent tells you it's going to do a little flip. All right, so that's your answer for that one. So this is technically the correct answer, but now when we have negative exponents, we need to make sure we put it on the bottom of a fraction. Okay, so with this one here, we have two p's. I got a p on the top, p on the bottom. So you got to subtract top to bottom. So I got p to the 12 minus 2, which is p to the 10th power. Okay, same thing here with the t's. Remember, it's really t to the 1st. So I got t to the 13th minus 1, which is t to the 12th. So far in my answer, I have p to the 10th, t to the 12th, and then r. So if you have the same thing on the top and the bottom, it just cancels out. It vanishes like magic. R to the 1, it's gone. It cancels out. So your final answer for this one is p to the power of 10, t to the power of 12. Same thing here, subtract top to bottom. So the u's are going to subtract, is going to be u squared minus 6, which is u to the negative 4. That negative 4 is going to flip it over a fraction, but we're going to come back to that. Here's my v's. I got v to the 4 minus 3, which is v to the 1st power. So my answer here is u to the negative 4, v to the 1st power. Remember that negative exponent, what we learned, it's going to flip it over a fraction, okay? So it's going to be u to the power of 4 on the bottom of the fraction, v on the top. So that is what's left. You don't have to write the 1 for the v, okay? Same thing here. We're going on with this. 20 over 24. These are your coefficients. These numbers can be reduced just like a regular fraction. You got to think, what can they both be divided by? So I know they're both even, so I'm going to cut them down by 2, divide them by 2, which becomes 10 over 12. Okay? Cut it in half again because those are still both divisible by 2, and that's going to be 5 over 6. These cannot be divided by the same number, so I know that is simplest form. So I know in my final answer for this one, I'm going to have a 5 on the top and a 6 on the bottom. Now we just had to figure out the v's. So it's going to be v to the 5 minus 2. The bottom's gone because you subtracted the 2, so that means it's v to the third left on top. So your final answer is 5v to the third over 6. Rewind this video, pause it, whatever you need to do. Use this to get the Alex questions done and submitted. You've got 1 through 8 to do, and when you're finished, submit the screenshot to Canvas. Good luck and try your best.